Now we have joining us Pfizer Sunny, analyst financial derivatives companies, to discuss this and give us more insights as to what's going on. What's driving this price? Good afternoon, Pfizer. First of all, what's driving surge in powdered milk demand and prices?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I said, what's driving the price up for powdered milk? We see it's up 35% year on year. What's driving this surge amid, low demand in the market?
Okay, so compared to substitutes like evaporated milk and fresh milk, powdered milk has the price of powdered milk is relatively lower, making it more attractive. And then we can also see that the preservation cost of powdered milk is also lower because you don't have to turn on the generator to turn on the fridge to preserve powdered milk. So that's one of the things that is making it an attractive substitute. Now, we're nearing back to school season. A lot of parents believe that milk is the higher you take milk, the better the grade. So a lot of parents are increasing the amount of the milk that they demand. So we can see there's rising demand in milk there. Then also inflation also affects distribution costs and production costs. So things like that also pass through into retail prices.
Okay, but we see producers are also reducing the pack sizes so that this powdered milk can stay affordable. I know I used to buy a sachet, maybe 400-gram sachet, but now it seems like I could even touch maybe like the bottom of the sachet. I can feel the milk there, but it's not a lot anymore. With inflation squeezing incomes, is this strategy by producers really helping the consumers?
I'm sorry.
I mean, the producers are reducing the size of the packet of milk that we use these days. And we know that inflation, we go to the market. Yes, inflation is dropping. When we go to the market, still we have high prices for commodities. But the reduction by producers, is it helping households?
Okay, so producers reducing the size of the quantity of milk that they sell, they are trying to mitigate increasing prices and also reducing costs. That's why they reduce the quantity of milk that they want to sell. So we call that concept, it's called sachetization. And that is when, in this case, when producers reduce the amount of milk that they are selling. So sachetization has addressed affordability and accessibility concerns. Lower income households are able to participate in the milk market. However, I don't think that it is. I don't think it is sustainable because consumers end up paying 40 naira more when they're buying the smaller sachets compared to when they're buying the larger sachets. By the time you multiply it with consumer habits of buying in larger quantities, the gap widens. So because of that, it strains consumer budgets. So yes, it does address affordability and accessibility concerns. However, it does still strain consumer household budgets.
Okay, but looking at milk intake now, even how many Nigerians really drink milk? You talk about the prices of milk really skyrocketing and staying elevated. Our milk consumption, especially in Nigeria, remains the lowest, globally. What practical steps can help boost consumption and improve, households' access to milk?
Okay, so one of the reasons why Nigeria has a low milk consumption intake is because one of the reasons is because inflation has eroded consumers' incomes. Because of that, consumers can't buy as much milk as the rest of the world. So for Nigerians to be able to afford more milk, inflation has to come down. Another thing that can help with milk consumption is in encouraging domestic production of milk. A majority of Nigeria's cattle herd population is in the north. If we can curtail insecurity, there will be spillover effects which would boost domestic production in milk. when we see increased production in milk, there'll be surplus of milk, which will reduce the prices and make people be able to afford more of milk.
Thank you so much, Faiza Sani. I do believe that maybe this thing is also linked to livestock production in Nigeria. If we can get our cows, all ready and maybe have a huge, or maybe a large amount of cows that we rear and breed in Nigeria, maybe this would help, especially for domestic consumption of milk. Thank you so much, Faiza Sani, analyst with Financial Derivatives Company, for your perspective.
You're welcome.